Holy freaking dog shit, man. I did not check the app on purpose this morning, and we hit 4,000. What is going on, y'all? Jesus Christ. It's freaking wicked to see you guys, man. I hope you're doing good, and I'm freaking just pumped. That is insane, man. How the fuck is there 4,000 people? It doesn't even sound real to say it. It sounds fake. This is ridiculous, man, but as I always say, give yourselves a pat on the fucking back, man, because we are climbing. Hell yes, we are making it to places. And I figure I would, how many times are we gonna figure, motherfucker? I figured I would pick, you can tell I'm excited, I would pick this GRIME documentary to freaking react to. Now, it's a no.
We've always been there for...
What is this ad bullshit? Jeff, you so excited you didn't even have the damn video ready. No, I didn't. But, man, 4,000. I can't fucking believe that. I mean, I can, but it feels weird to fucking say, man. Sorry for the amount of swearing, too. I can't help it. But, what is this? 2 ads in a row? Come on, nah. We trying to get to this documentary here in a decent time. We got a half an hour to watch it. But, I'm fucking pumped, man. For one, you guys already know I love GRIME, too, and I asked you guys about the history of it a lot. So, I'm just excited to learn. I love to learn, man. It's one of my favorite things. Like, hated it in school, but that's kind of normal for everybody. Unless you're into that type of stuff, you know what I mean? It wasn't until after I got out of school and started getting into my own shit that I figured I loved learning. Unless it was like history. History was always fucking dope, which is exactly what this is, man. It's fucking awesome. So, no further ado, big shout out to the family, man. We getting huge. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to rent out a place. Because I was thinking, like, when I come to the UK, what the hell are we gonna do? My thing is like, can we rent out a theater and then just all hang out and do reactions? I don't fucking know, but we'll have to figure something out so a bunch of us can all hang out together. So, enough chit-chat, Jeff. Will you get into this damn documentary already that people want to see, including you? Yes! Let's go, y'all. Put the sound back on.
Music of the streets, music from the gutter, music for the fiery. When were you introduced? Was it when you went to your first Eskimo dance? Was it when you ended up on Channel U amongst all the rubbish on TV?
That's sick, man.
Was it when you came across your favourite artist appear on SBTV or Grime Daily?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. They want 64 bars, I want 64 whips and yards. And I don't...
Oh, Devlin, baby, you were the first one I ever saw.
Or was it when the likes of Kanye West and Drake were associating with all the top UK MCs?
I want to ask you guys, how do you guys feel about that? You know what I mean? Because over here, it's being told as, you know, Drake brought the UK to light, where it's like, motherfucker, these dudes was already killing it before his bitch-ass wheelchair motherfucker I made it on TV, now I'm a rapper ass came along.
It's likely at this point that you became aware that there was in fact an entire scene behind the gun fingers, hoodies and screw faces of the UK streets, and that it was known as grime music. Grime as a genre has largely stayed under the radar since its birth. However, a lot of people have overlooked exactly how much of an influence it's had on British youth culture over the last 15 years. How it's finally given a voice to the people who had been censored for years. How it's helped develop confidence, self-expression, and a sense of belonging in the masses of youths born into working-class families. And how it has, on many occasions, universally united the most ethnically diverse generation of people in the UK's history. Grime as a music genre did not accomplish this on its own. But that is...
I just learned about him, but is that Temper T right there?
It's because grime is bigger than music. Grime is a culture.
Damn right, man.
The origins of grime are still recognized. Matured grime fans will be able to name early urban bangers from the likes of So Solid Crew, Craig David,
I was gonna say that looked familiar as fuck.
Heartless Crew, and Mike Skinner, all recognised for their work in the UK garage scene, and laying the foundation for what would become the early grime sound. Although sounds like garage, jungle, two-step, and drum and bass were under the urban music umbrella, these genres mostly went so far as to represent mainstream culture from an urban perspective. Sex, drugs, breakups, parties.
That song was dope.
There was something missing. There was something so unique hidden behind the cliche. A stigma. There is one person famed for bridging this gap. That person was none other than Wiley. Wiley began his journey in music, spitting over jungle instrumentals on pirate radio stations such as Rinse FM in around 1997, and formed connections with some of the hottest UK garage MCs in the game. He would go on to become part of the Pay As You Go cartel, one of the first urban supercrews in the UK. In the same year, Lethal Bizzle and the More Fire crew secured a number 7 in the UK singles chart with their breakthrough hit, Oi.
Oh shit! I gotta hear that again, man.
Lethal Bizzle and the More Fire crew secured a number 7. In the same year, Lethal Bizzle and the More Fire crew secured a number 7 in the UK singles chart with their breakthrough hit, Oi.
That shit was dope.
Which also had a distinct garage sound, but with a gritty and rowdy vocal backing.
Yeah, baby.
A bit of vocal and chop it up. So
Hey, Wiley.
it had legs, but we didn't fit it. And the MCs in there, they were more hosts, like masters of ceremony. They wasn't really like spraying bars or something.
The polished sounds of these genres did not appear to synergize well with the aggression, spontaneity, and volatility of the MCs trying to host them.
Trinidad bloodline, St. Paul soldier, model from a next door neighbour, Eskimo raver, Elstone visitor, Meridian resident, senior manning with president.
It was around this time that the infamous Roll Deep entourage would take its early shape, incorporating the likes of future stars like Dizzy Rascal and Tinchy Strider. From here, everything changed.
Damn. Don't kill me with the ads, I know.
Voice in real time. With Voice Mod, you can have the voice you choose.
Alright then, so what do you call it?
Everybody knows the Eskimo rhythm.
Is that DEE?
This was the dawn of a new sound, dubbed Eski Beat, and founded by Wiley, Eski Boy. It was so contagious, he was able to create a new wave the UK rave scene had never seen before, the Eskimo dance.
Wait, hold on. Did I just hear what I think I fucking heard? That Wiley came up with Eski beats and then that turned into something that fucking went into the rave scene? Are you kidding me?
This was the dawn of a new sound, dubbed Eski Beat, and founded by Wiley,
That
Eski
is
Boy.
insane, man.
It was so contagious, he was able to create a new wave the UK rave scene had never seen before.
What the fuck? That is
the
amazing.
Eskimo dance. Dirty, dangerous, and disorganized. It was the pinnacle physical embodiment of the word grime in music. It was already grime.
Is that Gets?
It's just, nobody said it yet.
You actually came up with the term grime.
I didn't. I think someone at the radio did, I'm sure. Because I used to say the word grime, but I remember calling my music like Eski Beat.
Huh.
This boom in a
That's
new
cool,
culture
man.
almost
That is
immediately
fucking
infected
cool.
the airwaves, one way or another, albeit on a small scale.
Got to Eskimo stage, pressed up that started selling nice and lovely, selling, until it sold about 5,000, and I felt different in myself. I thought, raw.
Record shops started stocking their shelves with white label vinyls. Pirate radio stations spearheaded by Rinse FM, began hosting more and more frequently. It wasn't long until the BBC caught wind of urban culture and launched Radio 1 Extra as a dedicated radio station and as a sister to their ever-popular Radio 1 platform.
Show no less than half a grand.
No way.
Crow with a vest, the armor guards, part Charizard, and my heart's got a darker tan.
All of this came to fruition in the same year of 2002. The next year, Dizzy Rascal
what
would
is this
release
song?
his debut album, Boy in the Corner,
Yeah,
which
baby.
is unanimously recognized as the original Grime album. In this year, we
Cool.
would also see the birth of Channel U.
So did Wiley not have an album with it? No, we said he sold 5,000 copies, but maybe that was for Eskimo Beats. I don't know.
Grime album. In this year, we would also see the birth of Channel U, which was possibly the turning point for the success of unsigned artists all across the country. This new platform had no
See, this is what I love, man. You guys support your own. Like, you know, did the BBC have to fucking open up a radio station and do that? I don't know. But to me, that's fucking dope, man. I love that shit. To me, it's all, like, I know BBC, big corporation, but, you know, it wasn't somebody from fucking Sony or somebody like that, man. It's kind of homegrown shit, you know what I mean? It's fucking, to me, that's beautiful.
credential requirements and could be one of the earliest examples of artist promotion through audiovisual media.
And then stuff like this, Channel U, like, just helping artists get out there, man. That is something that you don't really see too much today from bigger corporations and labels. It's usually artists that are helping other artists now.
Their daily program, Streets, Grime and Life, is a cult classic and is remembered by grime fans all over the country as the place they heard all the hottest new bars.
I was gonna say, is that Big Nasty? Hell yeah!
The next couple of years were no different, and it seemed as if grime music's popularity had been exponentially increasing the whole time. 2004 saw Wiley drop his debut album, Treading on Thin Ice,
Okay,
which
I see.
included What Do You Call It? An almost middle finger to the music industry's lack of acceptance. Lethal Bizzle did it again with Pow, securing another top 20 single at number 11, despite being banned from airplay for lyrics about gun culture.
There's always somebody that's gotta lay down for the rest of them to go. Damn, man.
Jammer had just completed Lord of the Mics Volume 1, a compilation of your favorite MCs clashing face to face, bar for bar.
That was dope, man. This is cool. I did not know. I mean, I knew this was old school, but I didn't know. This is fucking dope to see the timeline of when this shit fucking came around, man. That is... What the hell? That is cool. So at the same time, he had a single pop out. Wiley and Kano are on... That's fucking... Oh my god, man. That is cool.
Jammer had just completed Lord of the Mics
My bad, it was Jam.
Volume 1, a compilation of your favorite MCs clashing face to face, bar for bar.
That was sick. And I love how it's in a fucking staircase, man. You don't... Look at that shit. They got Eskimo. Oh my god, they got all that shit on the wall. Now I can recognize it. That is... That's fucking cool, man.
This is when the scene had gained its own identity, independent of other genres and independent of people from other walks of life.
Cool.
This is when large groups of kids began to stick together to succeed. This is what helped urban speech and slang become more familiar to and more common in the public domain.
Hell yeah.
Boom. The streets of England. That's what I'm trying to say to you, yeah? No one t-shirt business. It's called Naras down there. See all down there? Blitzkrieg.
This is when Wiley's scene became its own scene.
Hold on, I want to go back to that map for a second. I just want to look around on it. Okay. Cool. That's sweet, because looking at a map, like, I don't know where some of the cities and towns that are located of where you guys say you're from, so it's just kind of, it's cool to see, like, just right there. It's like, oh shit, That's where Liverpool is. That's where Birmingham is. That's where Aberdeen is. Way the fuck up there. Jesus. I hear all these names in music, but it's just cool to see them now. All right, let's go.
No one t-shirt business. It's called Naras down there. See all down there? Blitzkrieg.
What does that mean?
This is when
Blitzkrieg,
Wiley's
I know what
scene
that means.
became its own scene.
That's cool, man. When Wiley's scene became his own scene. Was that P Money? Hey, DWE.
Esky Beat was the character. Grime was the personality.
Dope. Another ad coming.
We'll try to set up here for the perfect ambush. It looks like I am here just alone in them.
By the time Roll Deep released their debut album, In at the Deep End, in 2005, a fresh underground music scene had been established in the UK, steadily establishing a grip on the airwaves. This was around the time that artists really began to see the potential in the scene, and themselves. In the following years, brothers JME and Skepta would form the collective Boy Better Know. Getz, Scorcher, Retry 2 and Devlin, amongst others, would become the movement.
There's no introduction needed.
Cool. They became the movement.
Amongst others, would become the movement.
There's no introduction needed. I'm a genius.
Who is that? Is that Dave? That's not. Who is that? I know him.
The collective Boy Better Know.
Motherfucker.
Getz, Scorcher, Retry 2 and Devlin, amongst others, would become the movement.
Ah, my bad. That was Wretch. Jesus.
I'm a genius, and I'm even schooling singers. Next year.
DWE and Footsie would go under the name Newham Generals and started to make waves.
Show, say, shower. I've got the top gear, I've got the power. I get the bacon.
But wait, let's slow down. MCs didn't simply say to each other, let's make a crew and get big. Many of these MCs had already interacted with each other and made a name for themselves long before they formed the crews who they would go on to achieve critical acclaim with.
Cool, man.
DWE was an original member of the Nasty Crew, which also included Jammer, now a member of Boy Better Know. In fact, a lot of artists emerged from the Nasty Crew, which disbanded likely due to the number of artists inducted to the group. Some fans will say that the emergence of big-name grime crews in the 2006 to 2010 era was spearheaded by ex-Nasty members. And many fans will recognize pretty much all of these names as the golden generation of grime, if not idolizing them entirely.
And Dizzy was on his own with Beck, but Dizzy...
Damn right. That's what I hear from you guys, man. That's fucking cool.
If not idolizing them entirely.
And Dizzy was on his own with Beck, but Dizzy was around us, man, still, and was affiliated and cool and friendly with all of us, like, so he made our first dub plate, Ready for War. You know what I mean? And that was the first Nasty Crew dub plate.
Make no mistake, a lot of these MCs had already been rhyming and laying foundations from the days of Grime's conception, which is likely why they were able to capitalize on the niche and become household names.
Cool, man.
Most importantly, the pressure on their identities and personalities had been reduced massively. Early interview and documentary footage of these artists shows a lot of planning and dedication to the overall success, albeit to a small degree, but that was enough.
Back at jail, next stop, world domination.
Hell yeah!
Some of them had recently left the life of crime and/or oppression, and to realize there's opportunity to stay out of trouble without compromising your street pride was nothing short of ideal.
I was someone that was just a persistent offender. In, out, in, out, in, out. There was nothing that could hold my attention.
Yeah.
That happened. And then I got a change from doing the tour, so it kept me on my feet. And I said, you know what? God sent a blessing here.
However...
That's awesome, man. Hell fucking right.
At this point, what the wider public knew of this emerging culture was restricted to only what was broadcasted on TV or radio, or at least what was allowed to be broadcasted. Even with internet platforms such as MySpace and Facebook on the horizon, It was common for artists to spread only within their immediate locale, generating hype for themselves on a relatively small scale through word of mouth. Some artists, like Chipmunk, were able to break through to the wider audience, likely due to their youthfulness, relatability, and relatively friendly lyrics.
Chicken eater, T-high streeter, Glazemo jumper, Adidas sneaker, Parada wearer, lyrical MC terror.
Though, still with the help of radio and co-signed by the Godfather himself.
He's gonna step up out of North London.
Yeah, Chipmunk's out of North London. He's gonna do his thing.
Grind.
He's gonna spray out the rhythm, let everyone know what time it is. Like 16 years old, run it.
That's insane, man.
Although it was evident that the sound was contagious and appealed to more people than expected, only the most popular artists could reach the wider urban audience. The rest, well, they just went hard for their ends. Until the advent of smoky bars. Around the years of 2006 to 2007, Jamal Edwards picked up a camera and began shooting amateur street freestyle videos, a format that would later become the ever-popular warm-up session series and evolve into more professionally
No way, I gotta hear that again, dude. My cat's trying to come out of the closet. Are you gonna jump? Or are you just gonna sit on the top of the chair, dog? Because usually when he jumps, he'll disrupt my camera, so I'm just waiting. What? Okay, stay there, buddy. No, okay, alright, he's moving. There we go. We still good? Yeah, we still good. Alright, let's go.
Of 2006 to 2007, Jamal Edwards picked up a camera and began shooting amateur street freestyle videos.
That is so fucking cool. Shout out to Jamal Edwards, man. I've never heard that name before, and you probably don't get enough recognition for starting the fucking warm-up sessions. That is dope.
A format
He just grabbed his camera and started walking around. I love you guys, man. You guys are fucking awesome.
that would later become the ever-popular warm-up session series.
You don't get that around here. They would film you to steal your bars, yeah, but not film you to give you some exposure. Man, shout out to you guys, man, helping each other out.
A format that would later become the ever-popular warm-up session series and evolve into more professionally organized shows like F64, the Fresh 64 Bars series.
Devlin,
what was
baby.
most important is that Jamal had successfully pioneered a way to deliver raw, uncensored content to a scalable audience on the internet.
That's awesome.
The biggest names in the scene, like Wiley, Dizzy Rascal, and Lethal Bizzle, were no longer exclusive to the spotlight. The dawn of the new internet age meant you could create the spotlight for yourself, and you just had to be the hardest. And a lot of MCs were.
Damn right.
Army orangutan gang bang for action. Family man from a banger man. Bad man get battered up and battle with my hand. Body parts buried in the belly of my land. Boy, better not bury anybody in your clan. I'm better than
By the late 2000s,
damn,
artists began to pull their own weight based off of the heat they created for themselves.
What's up, dude?
Some artists had developed enough of a personal fan base
Who
to
is that?
self-propel themselves into fame.
He looks familiar.
More and more music videos began to surface, albeit shot quite non-professionally, but this did not take anything away from the overall quality of the content.
Word.
This,
if anything, it fucking adds to it. For I don't know. I know you guys. Some of you guys feel like that. The more grittier it is, the more fucking raw and real it is.
also meant it was not censored or reviewed by many, but the fans who loved it. This was supposed to be great, right? Wrong.
Really no. Ooh.
Don't be mistaken by the points in Grime's history that brought it so far. The scene emerged from the dirt, and to see the success of the sound by what people had accomplished through it is only one part of the story. It was more than just persistence through oppression that gives it its individualism. In 2018, it's easy to point at Grime fans and scream bandwagon. However, this isn't the first time Grime has been trending. It's only this time Grime music has been trending positively. Many fans would recognize the names Eskimo and Crazy Titch, some of the best and most promising artists of their generation, though clouded by the reality of life they were trying to escape.
Damn. Hold on. Gotta let the cat out. You don't want to stay in here. There you go, bud.
Yeah, man. Energy game.
Let's go.
Because I spit them big bars, man, I'm money, man. I put something to your tongue, man, until you walk with me. This ain't something funny, man. I told them, boy, then stand by that, man. With a 4-4 bulldog, man.
Eskimo was killed in a street attack in East London nearly 10 years ago, and nobody forgot.
That's right, that's an Esco lyric, but right now I'm possessed by Esco spirit. Headshot, we'll have a nigga in a close casket, open it up and fling a red rose in it. Body off the body, off the body.
Damn.
Titch was sentenced to life for murder in 2005. That is still an open case to many of his
I did not know that.
biggest fans that argue he took the blame to protect a close one.
Wow.
These are not the only names who have been subject to the unfortunate circumstance of the lives they led, but undeniably carried the most weight. Even the biggest names in the history of the genre were not shy to violence and crime either. Both Wiley and Dizzy Rascal, although making it to the top, had attempts on their life and were physically scarred indefinitely.
Fuck, man.
It has not stopped there, as many of the artists who still perform today have by no means had it easy. Many of them, in fact, had it very hard.
I want to hear you say, fuck the police! Fuck the police! Say, fuck the police! Fuck the police! I said, say, fuck the police! Fuck the police!
Beyond the relationship between the artists and the streets comes their relationship with the police also. The boom of the scene would almost definitely coincide with the problems the originators of the sound had gone through, and as such would put others who saw it as an avenue under the same umbrella. For over 10 years, promoters had been asked to complete a risk assessment form known as Form 696, which required the promoters to provide details on the events they were hosting. This included the type of music played, the target audience, and more controversially, the ethnicity of the performers to prevent crime at said event from occurring. The intentions and logistics of such legislations are up for debate, as are all police motives. However, there has always been an undeniable element of discrimination that stems from the dynamic that grime culture brings to English culture as a whole. Many shows that grime artists have planned to perform at have been cancelled over the previous decade, and the community felt as if no progress had been made to finally embrace a culture so appealing to a large number of fans, artists and promoters alike.
I've just woke up this morning to an email saying that the show, London show in Under the Bridge has been actually cancelled by the police. I know.
This is not to say artists performing urban music are targeted as such. However, artists who had clearly taken on the profession to focus on something more productive and inspiring have a right to feel oppressed, as the police have halted them, either indirectly or directly, from doing their job and earning their keep, with the intention of it being harmless.
That we can do to improve the profile of the event, to mitigate that risk that they're assessing that there is. And that's why you get this ignorant attitude like, fuck the police, fuck them, because there's no discourse going on.
These hardships continuously put a dent in the nurturance of so much potential.
And that's the thing, he even said something about it being intended as good. It's like, they play it off like, oh, we're just trying to help. It's like, no, you're not, man. Fuck off.
Of course going on.
These hardships continuously put a dent in the nurturance of so much potential. Despite the scene being embraced by many, it was still adolescent, and the rate at which it was expanding was far greater than the contributors could transition into.
Look at Devlin in the background. Hell yeah.
Expanding was far greater than the contributors could transition into. Not to mention, for the rest who still had the freedom to pursue greater things within the field, were suppressed by the powers that were.
Yeah. God damn, man. What the fuck?
The never-ending defense of the scene and what its contributors stood for forced the hand of many artists. The authenticity of the rawness would eventually begin to fade at the same rate it exploded. The biggest names began to redefine themselves, less as grime MCs and more as musicians, and with that came the crossover into other genres.
Yeah, I spend a little change on you, but you always give it back.
Some did this to represent revelations they had of life. Others to contribute their talent to genres they had love for besides grime.
I'm sick, every line the crowd's like, I didn't get rolled or stack like
P money.
Listen, learn, then repeat. When they get a metaphor, shout out.
Though most realistically had no option because their own personal development was restricted as much as grime became less profitable. This is not to say that the sound was dying. It just became more apparent as a hobby than a profession.
Wow.
The UK urban scene, though, continued to thrive, and a lot of grime artists began releasing big tunes. Tunes that resonated much further than grime did, and so forth made more money and built more status. This, though, is when the meaning and the roots of the sound began to evaporate. Almost every urban song released in this new age was coined grime. Even collaborative tunes that featured urban artists were pushed under the same umbrella. This was likely not the intentions of the artists. It's only understandable that the fans recognized the music grime MCs made as grime, even when it was not.
True, true.
But realistically, the name became washed down with what was really UK hip-hop and dubstep. The scene was neutered. This coincided well with the fact that the grime generation grew up. Not just the MCs, but the fans as well.
Exactly.
The same kids who wore hoodies to school were now wearing suits to interviews. The same kids who were rebellious to their circumstance were now accepting of it. The same kids who were seeking family were raising their own. The same artists who spoke about the realities of the former were now speaking about the latter. A natural evolution, not just of culture, but of self.
A natural evolution, not just of culture, but of self. Damn, that's deep, man, because it's not wrong, dude. You grow up and you change. Fans grow up and you change, man. That couldn't have been better said.
Of culture, but of self. The scene was always alive and always had unfinished business. There were many who stayed true to the origins from the beginning and continued to develop it. There were also some who continued to use their image in grime for other ventures outside of music. Wilson! The scene evolved, as did the definition of grime. A lot of contributors had finally made it, and because of that, it's difficult to say whether or not the identity of the scene is still grimy. As a genre, the name belongs. However, as a personality, not so much. Grime music and lyrics was always primarily associated with the struggle, anarchy, and dismay it fought to escape. And that became its paradoxical curse. The MCs who stepped in post-2011 had already seen the potential success where there was none to its founders. The genre is now recognized by what is 140 BPM by identity. There are still sets, there are still clashes, and there are still raves. The dynamic was never lost, but the underlying matter is that every platform, every MC, everyone who contributed has transcended the status of the scene's namesake. The character, Eskimo, lived on. The personality, grime, didn't.
Damn, man. Damn!
The hype built around the UK scene has been established, and with that comes the people who have noticed how much has changed. Some are frustrated by the lack of authenticity, and others embrace it. The people who never stopped making grime are loud, and the voices behind them are even louder.
The scene is ours. Scene was under attack, man picked up the white flag and ran for pop music. Fucking cowards.
Grime music's resurgence in around 2015 was high profile and large scale, much larger than ever before. Waves of new fans entered the scene, and recently there was a new struggle to prove who was the grimiest of them all. To prove who exactly was a master of the sound and who could give the fans the best.
Before anyone else feels my music, I feel my shit. I'm the fucking hardest, bro. Matter of fact, I'm the best, bro. Yeah. The level of consistency, crazy, bro. He's been firing like that 13 years. Firing.
I was like, who's been firing like that for 13 years? Just firing. I gotta hear that again.
He's been firing like that 13 years. Firing.
Ironically, it was through this that it saw its roots resurface once more, and for the last time. We saw long-running clashes stemming from what seemed to be authentic disputes. We saw artists re-emerging on pirate radio to reach out to whatever the scene was left. We saw artists back on the street, with or without their crews, to revisit old visual traditions. Many veteran MCs played their part in reigniting the flame and gave us reminders of what we once felt in its heyday. Skepta brought the dynamic, Get brought the energy, Chit brought the controversy, Nasty brought the bass.
Hell yeah!
The authenticity did not
good.
and cannot last a second time. It worked, and the scene finally trended magnificently, almost all over the Western world.
I win. Don't wanna see me shining, I win. You don't want it on a mic thing, I win.
But the voices of grime will always be silenced by what is the dominant genre amongst the youth. This is by no means negative, as the grime scene eventually succeeded and many profited in terms of recognition, happiness and wealth. Now we're here, a golden age of music that grime helped to inspire. The UK urban scene is now well defined by multiple subgenres, and now competes with the best of other genres of music. The likes of Stormzy, Nines, and J Hus are just a selection of artists that...
Dude, there was a subscriber a long time ago, Kane McCowan, I think that was his name. He asked me to check out Nines, and dude, I totally have forgot about that dude, like 4 or 5 times over. But he is somebody I've been meaning to check out too, because, I don't know, I just want to know about him.
And now competes with the best of other genres of music. The likes of Stormzy, Nines, and J Hus are just a selection of artists that have gone on to become household names, not just for the urban industry, but for UK music itself. We now have award shows practically run by the urban community for the urban community.
No way!
Grime Daily's rated awards show is a hit, and put bluntly, is literally grime awarding artist recognition.
Cool, man.
It's for you.
Come on. I need to write this down.
Come over GRIME. And then the blacks come.
Achieving 1 million views on a major platform now earns an artist a plaque, akin to one earned by a chart topper. And some of these artists really are chart toppers. What matters most is the inspiration derived from this.
That's dope, man. That is cool. See, again, you guys are helping your own. That's fucking beautiful, man. Giving out awards if you get 1 million views. Fucking right, dude. Hell yeah.
What matters most is the inspiration derived from this. It's evident that new urban subgenres are going through adolescence in the UK and are experiencing similar, albeit more high-profile troubles than the past urban generation of artists experienced, but are nevertheless thriving. Don't be mistaken, grime has always been a huge banner. In a country with much smaller boundaries and a much more strict society, it's taken much longer for the genre to break free of its cultural shackles, and when it eventually did, it birthed a new age of budding talent that has the potential to spread worldwide.
Angles will still be on top, it's nice. I see you looking fly today. I see you shining, eh? Shout out to my hustlers.
I was gonna say Daps. Yeah, man, he's the first fucking one up there. Hell yeah.
Grind all day. I see you shining, eh? I smell that gelato from a mile away.
I'm just gonna read some of these names. Bashy, oh, Sir Spiral with the crazy beats. Risky Roads. Is that a person, or is that that's the freestyle thing? Who's Posty, by the way? That's somebody I've heard of. Mr. Jam, hell fucking right. Tim and Barry. Sounds like Ben and Jerry's. That sounds boring as fuck. No, I'm just playing. Dot Rodden, of course. Flo Dan. That's somebody I gotta check out too. R.I.P. Stormin. Danny Weed. Charlie Sloth. DJ Target. That's a cool fucking name. Youngster. Cool, man.
I see you shining, I'll still be a legend if I die today.
That was fucking cool, man. Holy hell yes! That was everything I wanted it to be, man. They fucking went through the whole... Oh, God. They went through the whole fucking history. Well, the whole history is what I could tell. I don't fucking know, but... Man. Wiley... That is insane. That he fucking invented... Oh, my God. That to me is just fucking mind-blowing, man. You know what I mean? It takes fucking balls to do that shit. To realize, to go, yeah, I could do this. I'm pretty good at this. But it ain't me. This is what I want to do. And no, are you fucking kidding me, man? And nobody did that. And he... I love that shit. I love that shit. It's that whole make a new damn path where everybody else walking on the same one. Wiley and fucking Dizzy. That is beautiful, man. What a wicked documentary, dude. Who is this guy? Higher Cloud. You damn right. We should have been smoking while watching this. But that was fucking sick, man. I hope you guys don't mind that I actually did pick it. I know it. Hopefully it didn't make for a boring reaction. But for me, man, it's just fucking... I think it's cool to learn. And... I don't know. For me, it's like... Yeah, you guys... tell me about it, but that's a lot of work for you guys. You know what I mean? To explain shit. So I'm glad this was suggested to me, man, so I can, like, learn shit on my own. It's fucking awesome. So, guys, thank you as always. I freaking appreciate it. I hope you're doing good, enjoying the day. It's fucking beautiful over here, man. I'm hoping you guys are having some nice weather, too, and it ain't raining over there, god damn it. But I hope y'all are good. Stay positive. Stay happy. And I will catch you in the next one, alright? I love you guys, and peace out, baby.